Hello everyone, Lord here. So, you may or may not have noticed that I just uploaded a video reviewing Shadowverse's new expansion set, Dawnbreak Nightedge. However, for one reason or another, I believe that there's a number of people who can't really afford to sit down and listen through my ramblings for a straight 2 hours. So, if you are one of those people, this video is for you. I've boiled down all of that talking into a very short and concise list of notable cards arranged into some very simple categories. This is a TLDR, if you will. I will be giving a very brief overview on what each category means and why some cards are there, but overall you should be able to pick up on my opinions within a few minutes. As a reminder, do note that this list is mostly in regards to viability within the rotation format. Also, any cards that you see highlighted, I've classified as archetype creators. That is to say, these are cards that enable a style of deck that was not present before, to now potentially exist and compete, literally creating an archetype by themselves. Anyway, let's dive straight into everybody's favorite category, Autoincludes. Very simply, these are cards that are extremely likely to see extensive play in existing competitive decks. Their power level is, at least in my eyes, absolutely unquestionable, and whether by virtue of their versatility or just sheer strength, I feel that you will be seeing them very, very often. Sky Commander Celia, a 2-play point 2/2 commander that can come down in the early game, help you fill up your board in the mid game, or allow for pretty wacky lethals in the late game. It's almost criminal how versatile this card is. Valse, Magical Marksman. This guy is the mayor of Answertown. For a measly 1 play point increase on the cost of his body, you get access to either 1 play point Big Knuckle Bodyguard or 5 play point Lightning Blast. Valse knows how to deal with just about any threat, and he provides you all these options in Swordcraft, one of the least flexible crafts. Witch of Foresight, Dragon Summoner for spells, not off full body plus guaranteed semi-targeted draw. What's not to love? Lindworm, the new go-to endgame dragon, at least in my opinion. The added flexibility of the choose mechanic is just icing on the cake, as Dragoncraft gains pretty easy access to King Elephant's distant cousin. Dragon Cleaver Roy gives you a slightly worse Dragon Oracle. Considering what lengths Dragoncraft is willing to travel to get ramp effects, this guy seems like an early Christmas present for good old Rowan. Jeweled Priestess creates cheap amulets which potentially synergize with the craft, and one of them draws cards, while the other one both deals damage and heals you. All this attached to a 1/2 stick that only costs 2 play points. Orcus Puppet Girl boosts an archetype to the point of almost assuredly becoming its centerpiece. Does so many things that she literally has 4 token cards that only she can create. She is no archetype creator, but considering that this little girl is about to single-handedly carry Portalcraft's puppets on her tiny shoulders, I thought she deserved the highlight. Miriam Synthetic Being, a cheaper version of Fervent Machine Soldier, one of Artifact Portalcraft's all-star draw effects that has a trivial hoop to jump through. Oh, she has a second form too? Very strong! As the name implies, these cards simply have a very high power level. Some of them are very probable but not guaranteed additions to existing decks, others create the foundations for a whole new archetype led by themselves, and others still simply give you a lot of bang for your buck, synergy or no. It's worth noting that all of the powerful new archetype creators go into this category, as by definition they cannot be auto-includes for the deck they spearhead. I think it would sound somewhat strange to tell you that Dimension Shift is an auto-include for the Dimension Shift deck, right? Yggdrasil can draw cards, can add to the number of cards played, can give Rush, and can give Storm. Versatility is the name of the game here, and the World Tree can definitely play it. Sky Fortress. Good rush body, reverse Gabriel is a follower, and can create a ward in a pinch. Simply a very solid card. Unbodied Witch. I don't think this card needs an explanation. It might not work out in the end, but for now, this card enables at least 2 different archetypes with her text box alone. Rooney, Destiny's Bard. The new Dimension Shift. I foresee doom in our future. Mysterian Wormist. Not only empowers the Mysteria subtheme, but also boosts everyday rune decks with on-demand Mysteria++ spells. Somniferous Whiteworm. Cheap, not terrible body that generates a nifty card that's always been borderline. Pretty good deal. Big Soul Hunter. Big Game Hunter's waifu. For just 6 shadows, she will put the soul of the enemy's big follower in her sights. Orator of the Bones. Cheap body that creates spooky skeletons. Shadow loves spooky skeletons. And shadows. Old Blood King. Fairy driver's uncle who apparently doesn't fear the old blood. Single-handedly elevates the Forest Bat sub-theme and consequently Bloodcraft aggro to new heights. Nightmare Devil. Blood needs bats, and this lady has them for cheap.
Go Bloodkin!
Cyrenian Hind. Another example of great versatility. Pulls amulets, reduces countdowns, heals you, and much more. Can't go wrong with a card that can be good in so many different situations. Tenko's Shrine. Side game's gift to those still grieving about the loss of Ilana's Prayer in rotation. Don't worry guys.
You're fine now!
Moriae Encomium. Amulet, check. Cycles, check. Kills a guy, check. Is annoying and makes the opponent have to play around it, check. Just a pretty solid card all around. That Which Erases. Potentially a banishing minigun. Fragile, but can go on a spree that would make Odin green with envy. Zwei, Murderous Puppet, provides immediate value due to Victoria's Rush and has the potential to quickly flip board control if evolved. Who needs more puppets when these two can kill so many? Junk. Misleading name. This card is not actually junk. What it is an excellent puppet generator that is given to Portalcraft just in time for Orcus to play with. Goodstuff. Again, the name somewhat gives it away. These are cards of a somewhat high but not overwhelming power level that have no place in current decks, but could easily be added as the meta evolves, especially as tech cards against particular matchups. There's not much to say about these as they are all either clear-cut good cards, obvious potential tech choices, or straight-up alternative takes on existing cards. Some examples: the Bear Knight is a Veteran Lancer, Absolute Zero Blade is a Windblast, Everdark Strix is a Goblin Mage, Godsworn Alexiel is a Roland, and so on. I'll just let you take a good look before we move on to the final category. Interesting, but without a defined place in the meta. The cards in this category aren't necessarily weak, but require a specific deck, combo, or interaction to be discovered in order to unlock their true potential. Most of these should find a home eventually, however, it will likely take some time or a dedicated build to do so. By definition, all new archetype creators that aren't obviously strong end up in this category. Swiftgate Okami can potentially enable some wacky, dead out of nowhere situations. Looking forward to seeing an actual deck for this guy. Chromatic Duel creates some interesting cards that I don't think have a home yet. Still, something that can generate 2 other unique cards for 0 play points is pretty much guaranteed to pique curiosity. Snowman King legitimately doesn't seem like too much of a meme. Don't think Runecraft quite needs to fill up the board with better snowmen, but I'm definitely waiting for the day they do. Still better than Otohime. Hinterland Ghoul. Worst path to purgatory is still a path to purgatory. Initially looks to be too balanced in comparison to its predecessor, but just wait until somebody figures out how to play more than one of these at once. Fickle Resurrector. Excellent card for combating the mid-game board, except that it comes down too late. If the meta moves in a direction where the turn 7 board control struggle is real, then this lady may shine. Also, ways to get more Cavaliers in play would help immensely. Dark Feast Bat. It's a bat that doesn't work with bats. There's almost assuredly a deck with this guy at the front, however, the one I'm picturing doesn't seem that good. Looking forward to somebody figuring out how to actually flesh out the archetype. Crystal Cannon. Support cannon that shoots machines instead of people. Just like the aforementioned, looks to be too expensive and too slow to actually be competitive, at least at first glance. Moon and Sun. It's ultimate carrot, except more versatile and with little goddesses. Don't think many decks particularly valued carrot's ability to keep coming back, so I can't see a home for this just yet, but considering the added text, somebody will likely find a way to integrate it into a deck. Finally, the honorable mentions, Prime Artifact and the Holy Alliance, both of which are archetype creators. While I think both of these cards are too slow to see play without a dedicated build ran in a favorable meta, they are worth mentioning as both create some interesting new design space. The Holy Alliance following the Road of Jades in that other game, and Prime Artifact expanding Portalcraft's arsenal in a somewhat unexpected direction. Also, yes, I am aware that Prime Artifact is not a collectible card. It's just more convenient to talk about it directly instead of going through the cards that create it. Meh! And as you might have guessed, the last category is meh, and it includes every card I have not already mentioned. Anyway, that wraps it up for my TLDR review of Dawnbreak Nightedge. Did I miss your favorite card? Am I completely clueless for relegating Bomb X, Y, or Z to the interesting, or even worse, meh category? Let me know in the comments. I hope this video has helped your evaluation of the new cards. If you want to hear me talk about a particular card in more detail, feel free to check out my full-length review. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Lord, and this has been Shadowverse. Thank you for watching.